I don't know. Did we do anything worth keeping in the beginning of the show?
I think that whole bit was great.
That's good. Hello, friends. Welcome to User Friendly. My name is Roberto Hoyos, and I am the host of User Friendly. And I also own a company called Throwboy. I'm here today with my friend
Erfon Elijah. I'm also the host of User Friendly. I'm here too.
Co-creator.
I'm the co-CEO. We're like BlackBerry over here.
Vice president in charge of marketing.
That's right.
You know what I never understood? Why do they call it vice president?
Well, at Apple, I think vice president is the person in charge of one of their specific businesses.
Yeah.
So.
But there's no president of Apple.
Steve Jobs. R.I.P. R.I.P.
Right.
Steve Jobs.
Well, anyway, User Friendly is a weekly podcast where we talk about technology and geeky stuff and things we like on the web. And today we have a pretty sweet show.
We're going to spend some time talking about our favorite hip-hop artists, or rap artists, like Rihanna.
And D'Angelo.
D'Angelo's a great one.
And
Maxwell.
Raphael Sadiq.
And by Maxwell, I don't mean Maxwell, like the popular artist. I mean Maxwell, the guy who sings What in the Butt.
Oh, not that guy. But he does fall under hip-hop.
I think he does fall under hip-hop.
According to Suburban Kid rules.
Anyway, dude, I'm glad the elections are over.
Whoa, beep.
Yeah, it's just my Xbox chirping at me.
Yeah, man. Obama's president, re-elect again. Or first time re-elect, but... yeah, last night I was watching on live coverage on the Xbox. And I was telling you, I was watching for a little while, and then I went off and was doing other things, so it shut itself off. And then all of a sudden I hear Obama outside my window, and I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm going to turn back on, see what's happening.
Which, in your neighborhood, I really do think is kind of weird.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't really live in a very, tranquil neighborhood, so
yeah.
It doesn't surprise me. But it's not a young neighborhood, you know?
No.
It's not like a bunch of people, like, in Capitol Hill. Where
yeah.
A neighborhood we have not too far away from us was going crazy.
Yeah. People were pretty excited over there.
But that's because we had 2 new things to celebrate,
that's right.
don't we?
2 big things to celebrate in Washington State. So, one of which I know you're really excited about. And the
Next
other
show,
one
I'm just
was
going to be
legal pot. You ruined my joke.
Ha.
Anyway, we got a show to do. Let's get this show started. We have a good show planned. And as per your suggestions, we've been doing something that I really like. We've been reviewing movies on Netflix, and it's great because everyone can watch them right after we review them. But you guys suggested that we tell you beforehand what movies we're going to be reviewing, and we're like, oh, that's a good idea. So we have been broadcasting this week that we are going to be talking about Jiro Dreams of Sushi, which is a documentary on Netflix. Hopefully you had a chance to watch it because this entire show is going to be spoiler city of that movie. So if not, pause here and catch up on next show.
Yeah.
We have some other cool stuff to talk about too, but let's just start with that movie.
Cool.
Because I had watched it and then I suggested you check it out, and I thought you would really like it. So why don't you tell me?
Why don't you set up what it's about?
Okay, yeah. Let me set up the premise of the movie. So. Kind of a strange documentary. It's about this really tiny sushi place in I think it's in Tokyo.
I think so.
It's in Japan somewhere.
Japan,
yeah. So
I don't remember them telling us.
And this small sushi place has grown to be one of the best, most recognized sushi places in the world. It's a very small restaurant. It's not fancy in any way. And it's won 3 Michelin stars, which are these really prestigious food awards, and getting 3 stars is incredibly rare. And what that means usually is the people that rated them for Michelin think the restaurant is so good it's worth traveling to that country just to eat at that restaurant. That's how high quality they think it is. And so the documentary explores what makes this restaurant so amazing and it's focused around the person who started it. His name's Jiro, Jiro. I don't really know what his last name is. I forget it. And if I could remember it, I probably couldn't pronounce it correctly. And what makes him such an exceptional restaurant owner? And actually, before I talk about what I think about it, so that's the premise. What did you think about it?
So, this took me a while to actually go watch, and it's been in my like recommended for a really long time.
It was in mine too, actually.
Because I watched the hell out of documentaries on Netflix. It's ridiculous, but so when it started off, I was pretty grabbed right away because of the cinematography is really excellent in this movie, and then I didn't know that it was going to be completely subtitled. So it's actually all in Japanese and subtitled.
You know, it's funny that you should say that because I don't even remember it being subtitled.
Yeah, that's the funny part is that you actually don't remember it being subtitled after you watch it. You know?
Yeah.
But that was one of my first impressions. I was like, oh, okay. I need to like make sure I sit down and watch and pay attention like full on, and I can't be doing anything else because I'm reading the screen the whole time. You know, that's one of those things.
That's actually a great point. Yeah, it's not one of those movies you can watch while doing something else.
Yeah, like you know, some movies I can do something else. I can listen. I can also be doing something else. Like I work with my hands a lot, so I can listen. You know.
Sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure our mic was on because I was a little paranoid that it wasn't registering. Continue.
But anyway, I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was really interesting. It was really interesting to hear things from just the people's mouths rather than like a narrator or anything like that. You know, like I was expecting like halfway in to hear an English narrator, you know, like go over them with like, and then he did blah blah blah, you know, and it was just interesting to see like the passion of this man who devotes his entire life. He's now 85, and he's devoted his whole life to creating the best sushi. And as that has been like, that's like his micro focus of his whole life, and creating this restaurant where everybody has to work as like they called it like an orchestra. I thought that was really interesting. And I don't know, it sounds like off the beaten path of like, it might not be that cool to watch, but it has this, I think it kind of relates to a lot of things in life, you know, like, are you really passionate about things that you want to do? You know, some people don't have that, which is, you know, a shame, I think, but I thought it was really cool.
I thought this documentary was magical and revolutionary.
You always have to top me.
No, this is honestly how I felt. It's one of the most special movies on Netflix, and I think it really highlights how to do well in life. And there are no tricks. There are no shortcuts. This guy, Jiro, decides that he wants to, you know, create a sushi business, and he dedicates his life to perfecting his craft. And he talks about this a lot during the movie. And then he trains his sons to have that sense of pride in their work. And one of them actually ends up starting his own restaurant. One of them is trying to take over for Jiro himself at that restaurant. And it's just remarkable how focused and passionate he is about all the most tiny steps in the process of building sushi, from what goes into it, the preparation of all the different materials, you know, even little things. Like there's a scene during where he's feeding these people that are there. You have to make reservations like a month or two in advance to even eat at this place, and the meals are like $600 per person. They're outrageously expensive.
Yeah, they start at 30,000 yen, which is about $350.
Yeah, in this tiny, unassuming store. So you go in after making your reservation, and he was feeding all these different people. He's laying plates down, you know, course at a time. And one of the things that struck me as really amazing was he was talking to the people that were eating there in one of the scenes, and somebody else was there with him, and he was describing that even as you're eating, Jiro's paying attention to what you're doing, and he gives like the women diners like smaller portions so that everyone finishes at the same time. And if he notices that you're left-handed, he will put the plate on the opposite side when he serves you, so that you're not having to reach across to grab your food. Like every little experience in his restaurant reminds me of Steve Jobs and Apple. Like he is the Steve Jobs of the sushi world. Like no detail is left unscrutinized. And it's just remarkable. His passion for creating this restaurant and this food with such love, and forethought is just exciting. And it almost kind of made me sad in a way because his dedication to what he does, like you said, I don't think everybody has. And sometimes I wonder if I even have that type of dedication to anything that I'm doing. I wonder if maybe certain people are just built that way to give such love and attention to every little thing that they do. But he has built, through his endeavors, like one of the most amazing restaurants in the world, and he's just this regular, unassuming Japanese guy, who worked incredibly hard every day of his life. It was crazy. They were talking about what, like, the training that goes into working there.
Yeah.
And he was like, if you want to work here, he's like, you can get a job here as an intern. He's like, but most people quit within the first 6 months because they realize how intense it is. And he's like, for the first year, you don't even get, actually it might even be longer than that, you don't even get to touch food.
Yeah.
They give their patrons hot towels to clean their hands before the meal starts. And he's like, you're only allowed to prepare those because they're so hot that they actually burn your hands. And until your hands can comfortably handle those.
Oh, is that right? I don't remember that part.
You don't remember that scene? No. And there was another scene where he was talking about how a hotel in the area was trying to copy what he was doing.
Right, yeah, I remember that.
And he was talking to his old friend, this rice dealer, who gives him this very, very special rice. And the rice dealer was like, this hotel wants me to sell them the rice that you use. And he's like, but I won't do it. And Nero's like, well, it doesn't matter, if you want to sell them the rice. And he's like, it doesn't matter. He's like, even if I gave them the rice, it takes a master just to be able to prepare the rice the way it's supposed to be prepared. They would ruin it. Yeah. And that's going to make me look bad.
Yeah.
So he's just such a master in every way.
I really like the, it started with just shots of him preparing sushi and stuff like that, and and then it went on to show kind of the workings behind it, like them going to get the fish, them buying the fish at the fish market and everything like that. But it was interesting to me that this person that has this sort of high level of perfectionism has to go to that other person that has that high level of perfectionism, the guy that he works with for fish is the best guy.
Well, the guy that he works with for tuna is the best guy for tuna.
Yeah, yeah.
And he goes to the experts in different organisms,
which is an Apple type of thing. Right?
Yeah, it very much is.
I really like that part of it too, because I can relate to that. I have to source a lot of things, and when you have somebody that just doesn't really care that much, it kind of brings down the whole thing. You know?
It absolutely does. Yeah. Totally. And the same with Might Teas, different printers are better than others. And it's you want to work with the ones who are really good and really passionate about what they do, because that's what makes your products better.
Because some people are really passionate about just a very minute thing that could be a cog in the whole thing that you're doing. You know what I mean? My embroidery place is super picky. They can be giving me colors, and they'll give me color swatches of different threads that I could use. We can't really match this, but we have these three, and to me they look like the exact same color, and I'm just it's cool, dude, just go with that one, But they have to have that high level of just being perfectionist. I think that's very cool and very admirable, and I don't know if that's within everybody, or maybe just everybody isn't really trying to find what it is they really love, you know what I mean? Because in society we're trained to at least here we're trained to go get a good job, make a lot of money, but a lot of people aren't trying to seek happiness, maybe it's not going to be working at a job that pays a bunch, but maybe you'll be really happy doing something else. I think that's something to think about too, because if you're going to be some people feel why do I have to have so much passion in anything? And it's just you only live once. Why should I be so involved with one little thing? It's I think that's all the more reason to be involved with something that you love, because you only do live once.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like Steve Jobs said, is if you don't do something that you love, you're not going to be doing good work. And it feels good to do good work, I think. And just like Steve said, I mean, the only way to do good work is to find something that you love to do. And that's really true, especially in Jiro's case, or Euro's case, or Jiro's case. In my mind, I'm like, I'm not totally sure how to say it.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's just such a perfectionist, and he sacrificed a lot to get to where he is. He's always at work. I remember he was talking about his older son when he was a kid. One day he was really sick, so Jiro had to stay home, and his son was like, "Who's this guy that's sleeping that's sleeping here on a Sunday morning?" Because like his dad was always gone.
Yeah.
So he had to sacrifice a large portion of his life and his self to do this thing. I just don't think that's possible unless you really love it.
Yeah, he was talking about, what's it called? He got kind of like put out on his own when he was 9.
Right.
and it was basically like sink or swim. Like, you gotta go, you're out. You don't, his parents told him you do not have a home to come back to. So you have to go do,
That's crazy.
Find something that you want to do. And he said that, he's like, parents that don't do that like tell their kids, you can come back whenever you want, they're training their kids to fail in life.
It's an interesting perspective, isn't it? I mean, it's like the argument that not everyone should be getting an award, and not everything everyone does is good. It's like that philosophy that you shouldn't be teaching kids that they're all special and unique, because they really aren't.
Yeah.
And when they go into the world, especially when you're not a kid anymore, it's like, when you're a kid and you draw something, your parents like, "Oh, that's so great," but all like people who aren't related to you are like, "This thing sucks," like when I see pictures done by kids, I'm like, that looks terrible, but I'm not their parent, obviously, so I can have more of a critical eye. But I guess the point is, like, there's a philosophy out there that you should be teaching kids that because they're not unique and special, they need to work really hard to develop skills so that they are actually unique and special. And that's what Jiro teaches his kids. I mean, he's really hard on everyone he works with, but only because he wants them to attain a certain level, of skills that you really only get by working incredibly hard and sacrificing. Yeah. And that's something I think that we're definitely lacking in American culture. It's like everyone just wants everything now, right? Yeah,
for sure.
Myself included, like sometimes it's easy to not work hard. But in any case, did you have anything else you want to say about it?
Is there anything else? I don't know. It kind of made me hungry when I was watching it.
It made me hungry too. I'm like, I know of a really good sushi place in Ballard. We should go there. Oh yeah, cool. So that's the point. Yeah. Sushi is great.
We hope you guys liked it.
Yes, and if you haven't seen it, it is on Netflix Instant. I know we have some watchers who aren't in the U.S. I'm sorry that it's not available to you on Netflix. I'm sure there are other ways to procure it.
Yeah, and yeah, I know a few people that got Netflix because
really?
We talk about
Netflix
it all the time.
They need to sponsor us. They don't, but they should. I mean, it's just instant. In Netflix Instant is $8 a month. It's such a good deal. Especially when you get to watch documentaries like this. What a magical movie. Really, if you haven't seen it, please go and watch it. Let us know what you think. We have some other stuff to talk about too, believe it or not.
That's true. What do you got?
So I thought this was really cool. I should probably move the camera.
I think I can get it from this angle.
Okay, well then try and get it from this angle. Sorry, we might have a camera in the shot. So Xbox recently released their SmartGlass app for iOS. It came out for Android first, which I thought was kind of strange. But whatevs. God, they finally appeased us, iOS users.
So what is this again?
So basically, SmartGlass churns your iPad, your iPhone, your iPod into a giant remote control for your Xbox.
So can I record this?
Yes, please do.
Is there anything you don't want me to show on this?
Well, let's see if it freaking connects.
Does it wake your thing up? Or do you have to click your controller?
Oh, interesting. Hold on. My Xbox has disconnected from the internet.
Uh-oh.
Let me see here.
So now I have to think of a story to tell.
Yeah, you do, and it better be interesting.
Oh. So I just got my iPhone 5. I got my iPhone 5. You know, I like it. It's a good like technical upgrade for me because I had the 4, but I'm not like crazy about the longness of it.
You know, I wasn't at first.
I know that I have to adjust to it, but I've noticed that I used to hold my iPhone like this with my pinky underneath, but I noticed that kind of hurts when I do that now because I think I'm stretching a lot. So now I think I have to hold it like this, like a candy bar. So I'm not crazy about that because it's like my dexterity isn't there. I don't have anything to like rest it on. But yeah, I did it as a brand new phone. I actually got it in the mail like a couple days ago, and it had a nick in it, so I had to go to the store and get it replaced. And these ass clowns,
good descriptor.
They were like, I was like, I'm an hour early for my bar appointment. I just want to make sure. Do you have it 16 gig blacks to replace? Because I definitely need a replacement. It came in the box this way.
Wait. Sorry, what happened? It came which way?
It had a nick in the bezel.
Mine too.
Yeah.
You knew that, right?
So yeah. So I was like, here's my shipping box, like just to show you, like I just got this today.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, we have plenty. And then I saw like one of my old friends, and I was like, you guys, I don't want to wait here forever for nothing. Do you have them? Yeah, we have plenty. Okay, cool. And then I wait, and they do have some, but they only were able to do it like, they didn't have the ones that they have behind the Genius Bar. They had the ones that they were like selling later. So they were like, we'll do a retail swap for you.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? Sounded fine to me, but this retard was like, this idiot was like, oh yeah, let me do this. Let me check you out. And he's like, oh, sir, it says that you need to pay $1.80 for this because of tax differences. And I was like,
why would that matter?
And I was like, why? Because I had it shipped to Redmond. They're like, oh yeah, it's a different tax bracket. And I'm like, I just got this in the mail, and you're telling me that now I have to pay a little bit more to your billion-dollar company? I was like,
technically it's to the state.
Yeah, but still, it was like it was a defect on their part.
Right.
It wasn't like I was rebuying it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
That's crazy.
I was so annoyed by that point that I was just like, here, like I just gotta get the hell out of here because I was so annoyed that I was there for like an hour and a half. You know, just like trying to make sure everything was okay. I swear, I get the shittiest service at the Apple Store constantly.
You know, it's funny because on the last Cultcast we were talking about this exact same thing.
Yeah, I remember I heard it, and a lot of people praise the Apple Store, like they get great service, et cetera, et cetera. And I only get great service only when I run into an old friend that I used to work with. That's the only time that I don't get like some dickhead genius that wants to like talk tech circles around me because he thinks I don't know anything.
I really don't like that, and I've had them talk to me like that before too. And I'm like, dude, like I think I know a little bit more than your average customer. You know, like.
And see, that doesn't even work either because then they're just gonna be like, oh, okay, you know. So I just have bad experiences with the Genius Bar, and. Yeah, so that's my phone experience, and now I have to sell my old phone.
But you like your new phone?
It's fine. It just makes my hand kind of cramp up because of the weirdness of the long form factor. You know,
that took me some getting used to too. Honestly,
I know.
Now I really like it.
I'm positive I'll get used to it, so I don't really mind. But yeah, other than that, it's cool. There's not really a lot of differences to me because the camera was really the only thing I could probably see.
The camera is really much better on that.
I just haven't taken a lot of photos or done anything with it yet.
You gotta be kidding me. I gotta get up and reset my router.
Oh,
Talk about strange that this happens right as we're doing the show. I never have problems with my router, ever. All right, we're back. Sorry, that was weird. Internet just totally went out. We just spent like 10 minutes fixing it. So I want to give a SmartGlass presentation. So you can use it on your iPhone. You can use it on your iPad. This is really cool. So what it allows you to do is several things. I mean, I can use the iPad now as a remote. So I'll hit this remote thing, and it brings up this touch-sensitive screen or touch-controlled screen. And if you look at the Xbox now, like I can control it just by sliding my fingers across, and I could pick stuff, you know, and that's pretty cool. And then I can also close this out, and if I want, I can actually launch applications and games right from here, which is really awesome. because a lot of times like you'll be using your Xbox and you don't want to use the controller because the controller shuts itself off after a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And it's just much easier to use like your iPhone or your iPad just to control it.
And they have an iPhone one that's just for like a remote control.
Well, I think they
sucks.
They actually just switched it, and now everything is SmartGlass.
That's better.
Because actually, as soon as they updated this, I had another Xbox app that I was using, and that changed into this. So I think everything is now, this. So go ahead and just show that real fast if you would. So I can scroll through all these using my iPad, and let's just do this one. And the cool thing is I just tap once, it launches it. Now, here's another thing. This isn't going to work for Netflix, but one of the things they're adding is premium or additional content on your iPhone or your iPad. So like when you start a movie like this, Haunted Honeymoon, which is on Netflix streaming, you should watch it because it's great. If there was any additional content, it would show up on my iPad or my iPhone. Now this works, I think, more when you're renting movies from like Xbox itself or buying movies. It's not for when you're going to be using Netflix.
Right.
But just adds a whole slew of more functionality. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, you can get out of it and it will still play. That's kind of tight.
Yeah, so it keeps going on the Xbox, but then it shows like what you're doing, and of course you can also do everything else that you do on your iPad and have it show up on your Xbox. So like let's say you're searching for something. Now you don't have to use the crappy controller. You can use like your iOS device to actually type stuff into your Xbox.
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh my gosh, so nice.
It's weird that on the Xbox old remote or iPhone, what do you call it? iPhone app. I don't believe it had a slide up keyboard, did it? When you had to type stuff in, I don't think it did.
I don't think it did either.
It's so weird because
No, it didn't. You had to like navigate just like you were on a controller.
Which is so stupid because I have that little Sony box that I showed you, and I have this remote that's an app, and I can and anytime I want to go to like YouTube or something, it's really handy because it will do the slide up keyboard, and then I'm able to just type in like I would on a normal keypad, So that's really nice.
Hey, check this out. So look, as you're doing all this stuff, you actually keeps the controls of what you're watching in the bottom right.
Oh,
so you can still scroll the stuff, yeah. Like launch anything that you've used before, but still pause and play like whatever you're doing. You can go right to the control app right there. Really cool app.
I like that.
It's free. The one thing I do have to say that I don't like about it so far is, and this is actually not a problem just with this app, it's a problem that I have with all controller type apps that connect over your network, is this. So I'll close it, right? Let's say your iPhone goes dark because you're watching a movie or something, and then when you're ready to open it back up, it makes you do this. Please wait, please wait, please wait. And sometimes it takes 5-10 seconds for it to reconnect to your Xbox over your network, and it's like, dude, the controller is instant, right? Like, there's no waiting. Who wants to wait that long to recontrol whatever it is they're doing?
Well, the controller is not as instant because if you have a wireless, you still have to turn the stupid thing on, blink.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. I wish this thing stayed connected though. When you closed or when you put your iPad or your iPhone to sleep, rather than having to reconnect each time, because just by the nature of what you're doing, like if you're playing a game or watching a movie, it's like eventually your iPhone or your iPad are going to go dark.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have to wait for it to reconnect. Otherwise, really cool app, and I really applaud Microsoft for bringing this to iOS and not making it one of those, or those Windows Phone features only, because they could have easily done that. But this is a smart move on their part because they're making big plays to get Xbox into your home as an entertainment center, right? And if everyone already has an iPhone, good on them for realizing, let's just make it for iPhone and have people, even if they don't buy our Windows 8 phone, it still works with iPhone, so at least they'll get an Xbox. So you should download it. It's free, and it just came out yesterday.
Sweet. So it works on your it works on the iPhone.
Yeah. And in fact, that's primarily how I use it. I just thought we'd check it out on the iPad because I've never seen it on the iPad before.
Well, all I have to say about that is this.
Oh, I like that.
Well played, sir. I'm on a real spiritual high right now, brother. Real high. Catherine Zeta-Jones. questions?
So we got one more topic.
Yeah, bring it.
At hand.
Drop it.
Alrighty, so some of you may have found out that Netflix, if you're a subscriber to Netflix, it's actually they're actually running a promotion in tandem with Spotify. Mm-hmm. So you can get Spotify for 60 days for free, and then
Spotify Premium.
Yeah.
Because Spotify is free.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say that already?
No, but why would I say that?
Because people may not know that.
You can get the internet for free.
No, you can't. How can you do that? Okay, keep going.
Anyway, so the paid service of Spotify, you can get that for free for 60 days. And I've kind of like kicked around using Spotify here and there, but I've never really been like a convert. And so I decided I would try it since it was free. I thought it was a cool promotion. So I put it on my phone, and I've been using it for about 2 weeks, I think. And I wanted to kind of go through what I like and what I don't like about it.
Let's do it.
And
because I'm a Spotify user too. Yeah, I've been using it for a year.
For a long time, yeah. So let's start with some things. First of all, Spotify Premium is $9.99 a month, correct? Mm-hmm. So that's one thing that kind of like stopped me a little bit, because I was like, well, you know, Netflix is $7.99, you know, and it's sort of like a similar thing. You get, you know, a plethora of stuff to watch. This way, not Pandora, but Spotify, you can get a lot of music streamable on your device or on your computer. Mm-hmm.
Now, I should say that for $5 a month, you could also be using Spotify on your phone. You just couldn't sync it to your phone, so you couldn't store it and play it offline.
See, and that's a cool feature that I've been liking. Even though when I use it, it's primarily when I'm connected, because I'm on. Well, now I'm on LTE, but I'm usually in the car when I do this. But anyway, so maybe the $5 a month thing might be better for me. I'd be fine with it. I'm not sure yet.
Maybe
because you can't make. Can you still store as playlists and stuff like that?
Only the radio feature. You can still make playlists, yeah, but everything is always streaming. So, like for instance, when I go to my gym, even with LTE, I have no signal. So if I don't have things stored locally on my phone, I can't listen to them. Not to mention, if you're always streaming, you know, LTE draws so much battery power. Your battery life is just gonna go right down the toilet water.
Can we get your phone to record this so I can tell people what I like and not?
I suppose.
So yeah, I'm actually a big fan of using Pandora in my car, because Are you good?
Dude, I'm always good. Good to the last drop. What do you want to show me?
I'm just gonna show you the whole thing.
Okay, cool.
So this is the Spotify interface, as a lot of people have seen before. You can go to the search and type in whatever. You can, you know, look up tracks, look up artists, et cetera, et cetera. And then you can also, well, I'll play a song. Let's see. What's a song that I've been liking lately?
It's probably about like Britney Spears or something.
This is a good song. Okay. So one thing, first of all, that I don't like about this interface is that we're so used to this being volume, and you do it, and it's just a forward.
Oh,
and I think that's really weird. I think that I'm just like, why did they have this extra step of you having to click, and then now you reveal the hidden volume feature?
Because why can't you just use the buttons on the side of your phone?
Why do I have to have two? I should have more than that option.
You know, it's funny because I never think about that. I always use the volume controls on my phone.
One of the main things I do when I start up a new song is I go root, because I want to adjust it, because I'm not gonna. Maybe it's too loud, maybe it's too quiet. That's one of the first things I do on a touch interface is turn it down, or turn it up. But anyway, so when you press on the phone, now you have features. And the one that I've been using is where you click add to.
I use that all the time too.
And that you get to add to a playlist. So you can. This is how you store it offline, basically.
Right.
So I've been just doing. I haven't really been like diving that deep into it. So I'm like new, and I'll just put anything that I'm like listening to right now into a new playlist. And then let me go back to this song here. So when we click on here. one of the things that also kind of makes it weird, I do like this. This is kind of nice where you can skip forward and backwards just by doing this.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. It's not a big deal, but it's kind of cool. One thing that I don't like, though, is that we're kind of trained to have this be a back button, and it's an information button. That kind of annoys me because I'm just like, oh, wait, like, oh, yeah, hide. Okay, now I'm back. You know? I don't really like that feature. I think that, like, they maybe they're not trying, but it seems like they're trying to, like, let's make this not like the iTunes player, you know? So, like, let's make this the skip forward, you know, instead of having a volume there. So I feel like certain things like that don't need to be there. Like, that's just like, why are we trying to make it, like, why are we reinventing the wheel for simple things that are like volume? That's kind of stupid to me, you know?
Interesting.
So that was kind of one of my things. It's just UI. But another thing that I told you that I do a lot is I listen to Pandora a lot. And the reason I listen to Pandora a lot is because my iTunes has become sort of like this wasteland that I never touch anymore.
Yeah, mine too.
Right? And it's like anytime I want to listen to something that I used to like a long time ago, I know it's there, but I rarely update it. So I decided that, or just being in the car a lot, I'll just put on Pandora. And Pandora is how, it sounds cliche, but it's definitely where I've been discovering new artists from. People that, I'll put in an artist that I like, somebody will come up that I've never heard, and I'm like, oh, and what I usually do is I'll screen grab it, and then if they keep coming around more and more, like that same artist keeps coming back, then I know that it's probably time for me to go check them out, you know, that I actually like them that much, you know? So in that regard, I feel like Pandora. Oh yeah, and the other thing is Pandora's radio is so much better to me than Spotify's radio.
How so?
It just has way better songs and way.
So
better
you think
selection.
it's better at picking music that you'll like?
And it has more music.
Oh, okay.
Like the other day I put in James Taylor into Pandora, and it put like all the kind of like hits that he has, and then other stuff that fit with that, like very well. And when I put it into Spotify, they must have much different licensing, because it was like stuff that he put out in like 2007 and like nothing old. And I was just like, this is really lame, you know, because it's like it's a bad selection, you know, like
in my experience, Spotify has less selection of really, really popular stuff.
Yeah, and that sucks, you know. Like,
yeah, like you're not gonna find Led Zeppelin on Spotify.
Yeah, and like the band I was just listening to called the LIIIKE, they're not a very well-known band, but Spotify had it.
Right.
So I felt like, I think new artists are adopting it, you know, like, so a lot of new artists can stream through it. Like, just random people that I listen to are on Spotify. So I feel like sometimes I've tried doing the Spotify radio, and I just don't like it. I'm like trying to get into it. Like, I'll listen to some like the one I was just listening to is a female vocal, and it's sort of like an indie rock. And if I put that into Pandora, it knows exactly what that is. It's like, okay, you want to listen to female vocals and indie rock, you know? And when I do it on the other one, when I do it on Spotify, it's just like, oh, you want to listen to rock? Like, it's just like everything.
Yeah, I remember one time I told Spotify I wanted to listen to 80s music, and it was playing me music that had been made in the 80s.
Yeah.
But like, there was like some Turkish song.
Yeah,
and this guy was like, and I'm like, this is not 80s music. Like, what?
Is this Wham?
Yeah, this was not Wham. This was not the Wham I was looking for. And the song was actually pretty good, but the point was, like, it didn't understand that, like, this is a genre and not just music made in the 80s.
Yeah.
Execute.
And I think in some ways, I've been noticing that Pandora has been working pretty well in tandem with having Spotify Premium. So I'll be like, okay, I don't want to think about it. I'll just put on Pandora with an artist that I already have a radio station for. Oh, this person comes up. Who's that? Oh, okay, let me go check him out right now on Spotify and listen to him right now. You know, that's cool, because that's always the trouble with Pandora is, like, sometimes you want to listen to a specific song, and then you're just like, shit, I'm kind of like just maybe I'll happen upon it. But
or you want to listen to an artist's whole album.
Yeah, and then you can't.
Yeah, I mean they're apples and oranges, really.
They really are. But that's why I said they work sometimes well in tandem.
Yeah, that's
sometimes.
true. I think they do work much better in tandem because Spotify's radio feature isn't as well honed as Pandora's for sure. It's not as accurate.
Yeah.
And I think that Pandora probably does have more music licensing agreements because you don't have control over playing an entire album. So, because like an artist like James Taylor, like he doesn't need Spotify.
Yeah.
Because Spotify pays him probably, partial pennies for every time someone plays a song. So if you could play his whole album and he only gets 5 cents or 10 cents or whatever, like why would he want you to do that as opposed to going to your local iTunes or whatever and buying his album?
Yeah.
That's what he wants you to do, and he's popular enough where you'll do that.
Yeah, people are still going to be doing that for years and years and
Whereas
years.
with smaller artists, they're more looking for an audience. Like they want you to hear their music, so Spotify makes more sense to them.
Yeah.
And on Pandora, you have no choice, which is my biggest problem with Pandora. It's like you put in an artist and it plays you some songs you might like, and then it plays you a really crappy artist, and you're like, okay, skip. And it plays you another crappy artist, and you're like, okay, skip. And it's like, you are out of skips. You must now listen to every bad song I'm going to play you. And I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Usually what I'll do is
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Usually what I'll do when it does that, and I agree, it does that, and it's annoying, but what I'll usually do is just put in another artist that seems like that's like similar in that same genre, just to see if like I'll get some more skips out of it.
Yeah.
But I think they're different experiences because the one other thing that's kind of good and bad about Spotify is that you basically get like a search bar with nothing, right? You have like a blank. Your mind kind of goes blank as to what you want to listen to sometimes, like. When people ask you like, what music do you like? You just like, sometimes you can't think of it because you're just like, I don't know, right? But especially if you have a lot of different tastes, you're just like, shit, blank search bar. I don't know, But on Pandora, if you're kind of open to it, it's a different experience. You have to be open to. I just want to like let things happen, I just want to drive and maybe I'll happen upon some songs,
Hey man, I'm just gonna smoke my free legal weed and just let it happen, man.
But really, like, it's the difference between listening to the radio and like going to seek out and listen to songs that
it's a much different experience.
But I do I still really like Pandora's radio, and I don't pay for it, but I do get annoyed when commercials come on. But hey,
what kind of commercials do they play? I hardly ever use
stupid
Pandora.
Shit like it's local stuff now. It's like, hey, did you know that your local Fred Meyer is remodeled? Go check it out.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But anyway, one of my biggest pet peeves about Spotify, and I'm trying to find a good example. Let me see. Do you have anything to add while I look?
My big thing with Spotify that really annoys me is for that $10 a month, you're supposed to be able to download music and store it on your phone so you can listen to it when you're not connected to the internet. But also, you're able to download it at a higher fidelity than you would be able to stream it at. That actually might be included with the $5 a month plan, the higher fidelity music anyway. They're having a problem, and they are not fixing this problem, and it really is annoying me. And maybe you're not having it. I think it's only a small subsect of their users, but when I go to download music, you turn on the syncing feature on one of your playlists and it starts downloading it.
Yeah.
On Wi-Fi, it is abysmally slow. It might take me 30 minutes to download an album.
That's weird.
And imagine if you had 300 songs. But if I connect to LTE, it only takes maybe, I don't know, a minute, 30 seconds maybe.
Oh, really?
So for some reason, the Spotify app is having a major problem downloading music via Wi-Fi, and it's only via Wi-Fi. So if you have a limited plan, I have an unlimited LTE plan. Of course, I get throttle if I go for like 2.3 or 5 gigabytes. Actually, I think it's 3 gigabytes now. So I don't want to use all my data downloading music, but it's like it doesn't work on Wi-Fi, and I have no idea why. And I've searched forums and stuff, and people keep asking Spotify what the hell is wrong with their app, and they are just silent. They are doing nothing about it, and it's really aggravating. I'm like, I'm paying you money. Fix your freaking app. It's like, why am I paying you $10 a month if it's not working?
That would totally piss me off because, like I said, like I don't pay for I'm not paying for anything right now.
Yeah.
So when commercials come on and I get annoyed, I'm just like, yeah, but I'm not paying shit.
Right.
So like whatever.
You
right?
are the product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is one of my biggest craziest pet peeves about Spotify, and I didn't know that this was a thing until I was visiting my friend John, and he was playing some music, streaming music. He was in another room. I was like on his couch, and he was playing it on a jam box, so I was listening to it. And then and it was like, I'm like, why does this song sound weird? It was like a song I knew really well. And I'm like, John, this is a fucking cover of this. This is like some band that tries to sound like Earth, Wind, and Fire, you know? I'm like,
that band's out there.
I'm like, that's horrible. Like, that's the worst thing. Like, when I was growing up, my family used to buy like these cheap CDs that you could get like at bargain bins, and it would be like 70s hits. None of them are like actually the bands. They're just like, they sort of sound like the bands.
Yeah.
They're cover bands. And I'm like, that's the worst part about Spotify is you'll put in something like Twist and Shout by the Beatles, and it will be like some garbage like cover Beatles tribute band.
Do you find that it's not obvious right away that it's not the same?
It's not obvious right away.
I've had that same problem.
It's not like a cover of a popular song done in their own way. It's like we're trying to fool you to think this is the real band.
That we had this music.
And that's happened to me before with like bands like Queen, and like just the other day with the Beatles. I think this is the one that I heard. Like, this sounds just like it. And then when you hear the vocal, and that's not the real thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll be like in the car like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I got so annoyed because like, it just annoys me. I'm like, can we have the real thing? I understand the licensing stuff, but why dump all of this like junk into your app?
I think it might be a search algorithm problem, because I've noticed searching in Spotify can be counterintuitive sometimes, and it brings up results that you're really not looking for at all. And I think that might be more the root of the problem, because I've had that problem too. Like, I search for something very specific and it brings something up that looks like what I want, and I'm always unsure. I'm like, is this the thing that I was looking for?
But there's really no way for it to know, right? Because if I put in Beatles Twist and Shout, it will come back with the best covers of the Beatles.
But it should know.
And
I mean, Amazon.
That's the top one.
Exactly. It should know what's most popular. I mean, like, if you search Beatles on Amazon, Amazon knows you're probably looking for the Beatles, right?
Right.
Like,
but I think my biggest thing is like, don't even have it there. You know, like, like when iTunes started out, they didn't have a bunch of just anything under the sun. They were like, no, we're gonna handpick like the stuff that people listen to, popular music, hits. We're not just gonna have like a whole floodgate of junk. This is a newer thing. Why put that crap on there?
Maybe they just want to. They never want you to search for something and have it bring up nothing.
Yeah.
Because that makes them look bad, maybe. So maybe like they're like, if you search for Beatles, we're gonna bring you music about slugs, because we don't have the actual Beatles. You know, and you're like, oh, I love the Slugs, are great. Britain's best secondary pop band, the Slugs.
Oh man, I don't know. Maybe it's like I'm like musically sensitive to that sort of thing, but it just bugs the shit out of me. I'm just
no, I think you are, because I've had the same problem. It annoys me, but I always chalk it up to the fact that this is Spotify, their library of popular artists. It's especially a problem with popular artists.
I think
is not fully fleshed out.
Is U2 on there now?
Oh, I don't think so.
I was gonna say, like, if you put in
like
U2,
Queen, James Taylor, you know, like Metallica, you're not gonna find any like major pop successes. On Spotify. Why would they be on there?
You're right, but I think that's one of the main things that a lot of people immediately don't talk to you about when they tell you Spotify is the best thing since sliced bread, and then they're like, oh, but I can't get Stevie Wonder on there. You know, like stupid shit like that.
Well, this is why, I mean, I still have my iTunes collection too, right? Because I have my U2 and my Stevie Wonder in iTunes, because there's no streaming services out there that really have them, I don't think. I mean,
I don't know. I could be wrong. I've never listened to, because I have like every Stevie on my iTunes as well, right? So I don't even try it.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. I've been streaming like Creedence Clearwater Revival, and they're a big band.
Oh, look, they do have U2.
They have them. But you know,
yeah, they do have U2.
Wouldn't it bug the crap out of you if it was like a different version of Vertigo, like that wasn't actually them? You know,
Vertigo. I think I have it.
Like making it try to sound like that, right? That's way worse, don't you think?
Yeah, it is. Like
if it's like it's a lounge version of it, like fine, you know.
Right,
but trying to make it sound exactly like it, that's annoying.
Well, then I also wonder. I have this music on my phone, I'm looking at U2 albums. I'm like, I have all these albums. Is it
Yeah.
showing me stuff that's on Spotify, or is it showing me stuff that I already have?
Why would it show you stuff that you have?
Because you can put your music collection into Spotify and use it to play all your music.
Why? Because you just like the app?
Yeah, because you like the app.
Okay.
And plus, it's social then, because that way it shows up in Open Graph on Facebook.
Oh,
you know,
right.
it's like...
I remember the desktop app did that. Yeah, okay. So you
okay,
don't...
no, this is definitely...
This
I don't
is-
have these albums.
This is not yours. Oh, okay.
This is not mine. So they have all of U2, which is actually really surprising.
See, I feel like, yeah, they don't need it. Like, a lot of bands that are popular as hell, or, like, you know, bands like you're talking about, like Metallica, they don't need it. But, like, we're in a new generation where that's where their exposure is going to come from, you know?
Yep.
So it's just like, get the hell
Yeah,
on
if anything,
board.
it helps you because
Yeah.
now it's like you have a way for people to find your music.
It's the same argument that we had back in the day when bands were like holding out on iTunes, you know, like we're not going to get like the Beastie Boys on iTunes or Red Hot Chili Peppers on iTunes. And that was happening for like a couple years and they were all like proud of it. Yeah, no, go buy our CDs because the CD's the experience that we want you to experience, you know? And then now that's dead as shit. So like move on and get your stuff on to streaming services because it's not going back, you know?
Right. If anything, it just makes people pirate your music.
Yeah.
Let's see. Red Hot Chili Peppers. Are they on here? Dude, look at all those Red Hot Chili Pepper albums.
Yeah, that looks like all of them.
I think that might be everything. This
Yeah.
is what I love about Spotify. It has definitely has its imperfections, but you know, there's so many times where I'll be somewhere and I'm like, oh, that sounds like a good song, or I'll hear a song on TV on like Carson Daly or something, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I search for them on Spotify. They're almost always there.
Yeah,
you
that's
get to listen to the whole album.
Yeah.
And I discover a lot of music that way.
And I think that's the like you said, you saw something or you were out and about.
Yeah,
I think it works well in tandem with experiencing different kinds of music in different ways, like radio, internet radio, hearing of somebody like in a store or whatever. Like I think that's good. I think that when you are just sat on your couch and you have nothing comes to mind, that's when it's a little bit daunting, right?
Dude, I have Shazam Premium, which basically means there's some extra features. So I can listen to a song and send it right to Spotify, and it brings it up.
That's nice.
It's like, here's the song, here's the artist, here's the album. Boom, you can listen to the whole thing. And I've done this a lot of times, especially when I go into American Apparel.
And
I always hear music that I like.
Shazam is an app that auto detects what music you're listening
Yeah,
to.
this is for the paid version only. You can't send it directly to Spotify if you don't have the paid version. You have to actually like enter it in manually once Shazam tells you who the artist is.
Sure.
But it still works really well.
So yeah, that was my kind of like goods and bads about that.
Cool.
If you guys do have a Netflix account, you can get Spotify. As far as I know, at least in the States, you can get a free trial. So,
Probably in UK too.
so
Spotify.
yeah.
You can log on to your Spotify.
But any hoot.
I think that's it.
Cool.
Fantastic. Hey, you know, if I were interested in Throw Boys and I want to mingle with some Throw Boys, how would I go about doing that?
Well, you can get your Throwboy pillows on throwboy.com, and you can also follow Throwboy at Throwboy on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
But me, if you're interested in what I have to say, it's just at Roberto Hoyos, ROBERTOHOYOS. And
Dude, it rolls right off the tongue.
what about you?
Well, you can always catch me on the Cultcast. Search for that on iTunes. Or I'm at Erfon on Twitter. If you're interested in Mike Tees, MikeTees.com, MIGHTTEES.com. We just released some prints. We're doing prints now on our
Cool.
website, which is great because we've been selling those at like cons, like Comic Cons and local stores here in Seattle, but have never had them on our website. So I'm happy to finally have those available.
That's sweet.
Yeah, because you know a lot of people don't want art on their chest; they want it on their walls. And you can also subscribe to this show if you haven't already. Please do. It's in iTunes. Just search User Friendly Show. That way you never miss an episode.
And leave us a comment on our iTunes because we love hearing what you guys think
Please,
of the show.
yeah, and your reviews really help us a lot.
Yeah.
You know, right now I think we have 7 listeners. We're pushing for 10, and with your help we can get there. So
Tell your mom and dad.
tell your mom and dad, tell your grandma. And of course, you can also watch the show on YouTube, youtube.com/user-friendly-show. I think that's it.
That's it, man.
All right, this has been User Friendly. Thanks for watching, guys.
We will
We'll
catch
see
you guys
next week.
next time.
Next time.